Gene Daibo, along with political press attaché Joe Delaronde, in front of the Golden Age Club, where last night the meeting of the community decision-making process took place on the Mohawk Council of Kahnawà election law amendments. Joe, how did it go?
I think it went very, very well. This is the first time we used sort of an abbreviated process for regular Type 1 law. A couple of years ago, actually about 3 years ago, there were amendments made to the election law, and that was a series of bigger meetings. This time it was more of a tweaking. There were some things that needed to be fixed. There was one meeting just a couple of weeks ago, to tie up some of those loose ends. And last night, well, it went fairly quickly. They brought back the things that were fixed, and they were approved very quickly by the people there. And after that, they did an actual reading of the law into the minutes, into the record. And then finally, after that, there was a signing of, the people who were present and representatives to, what's the term we use here, the confirmation of the process.
Tell us what those amendments were.
Basically, you're looking at allowing regulations to be created as opposed to having everything in the law, because when everything's in the law, it's very hard to amend. You're looking at one of the main things is setting the date for the election, because as we recall, last election, the electoral officer, which was his right, chose a period of like a couple of weeks before the normal time, and it messed up a lot of things. So that's why the proponents went and said maybe we should change it and have the fixed date, because for many, many years it was the first weekend in July, and that's going to happen now on a permanent basis the first Saturday in July, as it had been for many, many years.
Okay. Well, one thing that I noticed about this particular process for the amendments to the election law is that it happened quite quickly,
which was a good thing. First of all, the proponents, Alana Goodleaf-Rice and her technician Trina C. Daibo, were very, very efficient and were able to answer all of the questions that were brought up quickly, effectively, and clearly. Kevin Fleischer, who was the lawyer on the file, also was present. And anytime a question came up, there was none of that looking around and who's going to answer. They answered directly, and the confidence gave the people in the audience confidence to that they were heading in the right direction. All the questions were answered, and it went very, very well.
Joe, does that mean that this now will be in place for the coming elections this July 2018?
Well, it certainly looks that way, because it will, as the final piece in this puzzle, it has to go back to Chief and Council for official ratification. They'll do a Mohawk Council resolution. That's going to happen, it's expected, in early March. I think it's March 5th. And then with that, if it does pass, and it should, then it will make it in time for the election. The new election will go with the new law in place.
Thank you, Joe.